Careblazer, if you are the one who sees it, who has been in the house with them, who's been to their doctor's appointments, who's watched the slow, painful changes, and the rest of your family looks you in the eye and says things like, Mom seems fine, or you're overreacting, or Dad's just getting older. It's normal. I want you to know that you are not imagining it and you are not failing. This is one of the most painful and isolating experiences that the primary caregiver, the Careblazer, can experience. And I hear about these stories all the time inside of our support rooms, inside of the private conversations I have with Careblazers. And I want to talk about it in today's video. You are already grieving many of the losses that come along with somebody you love having dementia. And on top of that grief, you are many times carrying the weight of trying to inform and let all the people around you know what's going on with your loved one. And sometimes it can feel like you have to convince the very people you think are supposed to be on the same team as you. And so many times, because this disease can be so confusing, other family members may not believe you. They may start to question you. They may think you're exaggerating, you're not telling the truth, you're being dramatic, and all of that makes caregiving so much more difficult. Careblazers often tell me things like, my brother visited for 2 hours on Christmas. My mom held it together for those 2 hours. Now my brother tells everybody I'm exaggerating. Or my sister keeps saying she seemed fine on the phone, but I know mom couldn't remember what she ate today, or she sometimes gets lost in conversation. So then it makes me look like the bad guy. Or my dad has dementia and my mom is in complete denial. She doesn't think anything is wrong with him. I'm the one driving him to neurology appointments. I'm the one washing his clothes. And somehow I'm the dramatic one. If any of that hits close to home, Careblazer, stay with me. By the end of this video, I want you to understand exactly why this happens, why it's so common. And I want to give you a path forward that doesn't require you to convince anyone of anything before you can start taking care of your loved one. Let me name exactly what this looks like because it shows up differently in a lot of different ways. So sometimes it's the long distance relative or the long distance sibling who only visits a few times a year and insists mom is as sharp as a tack. Sometimes it's the spouse of the person with dementia who refuses to use the word dementia and gets angry when you bring it up. And sometimes it's the adult children who say, they've always been like that. Sometimes it's subtle in the way that they may not believe you. Perhaps they just kind of nod when you mention the diagnosis. They quietly ignore every recommendation you are sharing with them. They keep handing dad the car keys. They schedule family dinner at loud restaurants during busy times. And they look at you as if you're ruining the holiday when you say it's too much or you try to implement the changes that are best for your loved one. Sometimes it's not so subtle, and sometimes other people's reactions and their doubt of what's going on is loud. They accuse you of being controlling, trying to take over finances. They tell other relatives you're the problem. And sometimes this is the one that can hurt the most. They actually tell your loved one, the one with dementia, that nothing is wrong. They feed the denial. And then your loved one looks at you, starts to question you or be suspicious of you, or they start to wonder why you're being so difficult. All of this is real, all of this is exhausting, and all of it has an explanation. There are 3 main things to understand in this type of situation. The first 2 are about your family, and the third is about your loved one's brain, and it's the piece that often makes things so much more difficult. So, number 1, denial is protective, and it's a protective response. It's not a logical one. So denial is one of the oldest tools that the human brain has. When something is too big to take in, the brain shrinks it down. So for a sibling who lives far away, accepting the diagnosis means that they've been missing time. For a spouse, it could feel like they're losing the person who has been their best friend for the past 50 years. In some ways, denial can be a form of grief. Most of the time, denial is not malice. It's not intentionally trying to cause trouble or drama or make your life more difficult. Number two, visiting is not the same as caregiving. When someone sees your loved one for 2 hours on a good day in a familiar setting, they often see the part of the brain that is most preserved in dementia, what we call the social facade. Your loved one might be able to smile and say, "Oh, it's so good to see you today." Long social phrases, long social ways of interacting, they kind of stay together. They don't appear so damaged because it's not tapping into the part of the brain that's responsible for working memory and judgment. So that's the part that is often damaged in the beginning phases of dementia, and it's the part that you're seeing as a primary caregiver. So those long-standing social ways of interacting, "It's nice to see you," or "This was lovely," those are stored in a different part of the brain than the working memory and the judgment. This means your sibling, relative, they walk away thinking to themselves, "Oh, they seemed fine. They didn't seem that bad at all." They're not lying. They're just not seeing what you're seeing, because what you're seeing only shows up in the other 22 hours of the day, not the 2 hours they were there visiting. And number three, this is a piece I want you to hear. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you've probably already heard it. Your loved one might have something called anosognosia. It's a mouthful, the word anosognosia, but it's not denial in the emotional sense. It's a neurological condition where their brain has lost the ability to recognize that anything is wrong with itself. So in your loved one's eyes, they think everything is perfectly fine. So because of that, your loved one is likely telling other family members, "I'm totally fine." They might even be saying, your loved one with dementia might even be telling other family members, "They're overreacting," or "She's just treating me like a child," or "She's trying to take over," or "He's trying to take over in ways I don't need," which means your other family members are hearing directly from the person with dementia, and they're hearing that sincerely. And that's powerful, even though it's inaccurate. So no, you're not exaggerating it. No, you're not imagining it. It doesn't mean you caused it. It doesn't mean you deserve this. It's what dementia often does to a family system long before anybody is ever ready for it. And in many cases, unfortunately, it can start to tear the family apart. Now, before we talk about what to do in these situations, I want to talk about what our human nature tends to do, very understandably, when other family members don't really believe this. I am not saying this in a way to make us feel guilty or make us feel like we're doing something wrong. These are simply very common human natural reactions that we take when we know the truth about something and we're trying to help the other person understand, because we want us to all be on the same team. So one, arguing with them into belief, not really a great idea. Sending them all the articles, listing every incident, convincing them of every symptom or challenge that you experienced. Information rarely breaks through denial, because denial isn't a logical problem, it's a feeling problem. So that's one. Number two, sometimes we want to set up the gotcha visit. Like, we want to hope that they stay long enough, that they see the bad response, that they see how hard we have it. And unfortunately, our loved ones usually rally for visitors. They rally for that not so common event, which is why they perform so much better in front of the doctor's visits than they do at home with you. And so this often makes us look even more wrong or even more dramatic in our other family members' eyes. Number three, sometimes we defend ourselves every time we're accused of overreacting. And the more we defend ourselves, the more it sounds like, to them at least, that the whole thing is up for debate when it really isn't. Four, sometimes we want to wait for permission from other family members before we make the decision. But by the time everyone agrees on the same outcome or on the same steps to take, it means something usually really bad has happened, something significantly wrong has occurred. And five, sometimes we make our loved one try to prove the diagnosis. So we try to quiz our loved ones in front of other visitors and family members, which unfortunately is just going to humiliate the person with dementia, and it almost never convinces anyone of anything. Those are just some of the common, totally understandable ways that we, as a primary caregiver, try to relay to the other family members what is going on. So, what actually helps? I want to share 5 things you could consider trying if you are faced with a situation. Number 1, stop trying to convince them and instead start informing them. Us trying to convince somebody relays the message that they have to agree with me, but informing them says, here's what's happening. Here's what the doctor said. Here's what I've been doing. You're not asking for a vote. You're not even asking for their agreement. You're just letting them know what's going on. Number 2, write things down, whether it's a short factual update through a text, through an email, a voice memo once a week, whatever you can sustain or feels good to you. You might say, this week, mom got lost driving to the grocery store, or this week, dad had an appointment. Over time, that record can do the convincing for you. Also, that record is kind of a nice way to reduce the emotional weight of trying to keep everybody updated. You can simply maybe create a Google document and share access and give everybody that you feel like needs to know what's going on access to that document, and you can just update that weekly. Number 3, let the doctor be the messenger. Many families, relatives, for whatever reason, have a hard time believing the primary caregiver, but they might believe the neurologist, they might believe the PCP. So perhaps, if you feel comfortable enough with it, ask a sibling to join you at the next appointment by video or by phone or even in person. And sometimes a 10-minute conversation with an actual clinician can change a year of you trying to convince them of what's going on. Number 4, protect your loved one first, even if your family is not on board. You don't need a consensus to remove the car keys. You can hire a few hours of in-home help, even if other family members think you shouldn't need that help. You can lock up medications. You can take over the bills. Your responsibility is to your loved one's safety, not to your family member's comfort. Number 5, this one is for you. Find people who do believe you, other caregivers, another support group, a therapist who knows dementia, our community inside of the Care Collective. You should not have to make your case to be cared for. Surround yourself with people who really get it, who understand, so that the doubting voices that you are hearing elsewhere are no longer the only voices in the room. Careblazer, I know that even understanding this, the denial, the social facade, the anosognosia, none of it erases how this feels at 11 p.m. when you are still awake, replaying the argument over and over with other family members. It is okay to feel betrayed. It's okay to feel furious. It's okay to grieve the family you thought you had. That's a real loss. And on top of all of that, the loss of the person you're caring for, the person with dementia. It's okay to feel lonely in a house full of relatives. It's okay to feel love and rage toward the same person in the same hour. These are all very real emotions that happen in dementia caregiving. Understanding dementia does not erase the pain of experiencing dementia, but it can help you stop carrying the blame that does not belong to you. You're not making this up. You're not the problem. You are the one who showed up. Careblazer, you know that you are doing an incredibly difficult job, but also an incredibly meaningful one. I am sending you so much love. If this video resonated with you in any way, if it helped you in some way, if you want more support like this in your inbox once a week, I write an email myself. I do it personally. It's called the Dementia Dose, and I send it to you once a week, and it's where you can get some encouragement to face the week ahead. And the link to sign up for that is in the description below, and it's entirely free to join. If you are ready for more deeper support, if you are ready to surround yourself with those other voices where you don't need to justify or explain everything that you are seeing, I invite you to take a look into our program called the Care Collective. We meet in support rooms multiple times a week. It's a place you don't have to convince anybody about what you're going through. We already believe you. Mostly because we're living it too. And the link to that is in the description below. We'd love to have you. And one more thing. If you are watching this and you have not subscribed to the channel, there is a red subscribe button on your screen. It is totally free to press. And when you press it, it means that the next time I put out a video that hopefully will be helpful to you, YouTube will be likely to show it to you the next time you log in. And the most important reason to hit that red subscribe button is that YouTube is very smart in its algorithm. And it means that if there are other people out there like you, which we know there are, and they have no idea that this channel exists and they are searching for information and support on dementia, YouTube will be more likely to show it to them because somebody similar to them, you, has already clicked on that button. So it really does mean a lot. Careblazer, thank you so much. I'm coming to you. I'm recording this on a Sunday afternoon. I have Milo right here by my side. And I just want you to know I am thinking about you. I am rooting for you. And I know this is really hard. I will be back next week with another video as always. Until then, keep up the great work. Bye.
Also, Nico gets a belly rub for every person who subscribes from this video. So if you haven't already, click the red subscribe button. It's totally free. And Nico says, thank you very much.